Join Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle as he delivers to us the preachings of the Sunday's Gospel that's awe-inspiring yet easy to understand and appreciate. Let us all listen to the Word of God here on The Word Exposed on Air, only on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.
The fire we reported at the old fire hall is still burning out.
Do you sometimes feel confused or lost in the complications and complexities of life? Do you feel drained, listless, or exhausted from the daily burdens and responsibilities? Why not seek our campus ministers on air every Tuesday from 2 to 3 in the afternoon? Listen to our counselors from the Loyola School's Campus Ministry Office as they ground our lives in our faith, in our school's spiritual tradition. Campus Ministers on Air. Be guided, be inspired, be blessed. Listen to our Campus Ministers on Air.
Calling on all young male professionals. Do you wish to live an extraordinary life? Are you tired of the routine and mundane and long for a dynamic, adventurous, and even dangerous life? Do you wish to make your life count and hope to make an impact long after you're gone? Do you wish to live a life of service to society, to country, and to dear Mother Earth? Then you are the one we are looking for. Consider the Society of Jesus. Join the Church's gallant army and turn your world upside down. Call the Jesuits Vocations Promotions Team 426-6101, local 3406. Once again, 426-6101, local 3406.
Rejoice, refresh, renew, and reflect. Join us for an hour of music that uplifts the soul. Listen to your favorite Jesuit music ministry artists. This is JMM Radio. JMM Radio. Get your day's dose of inspirational music. Tune in to JMM Radio every Wednesday from 1 to 2 p.m. only here on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. Keep the Word of God strong in our lives. Keep the spirit of hope and the grace of healing alive every day. Keep the faith. Join us every morning for the celebration of the Holy Eucharist with the Jesuits from the Philippine province. Keep the faith. Daily Mass for Hope and Healing streams from Monday to Sunday at 8 o'clock in the morning on Radyo Katipunan's Facebook page, YouTube channel, Twitter feed, and other social media partners. The Jesuit Hour. Get to know the Jesuits. Discover their spirituality, their history, their ministries. The Jesuit Hour. Anything Jesuit, everything Jesuit. The Jesuit Hour. Radyo Katipunan is now online. See our live feed on facebook.com/Radyo Katipunan. Check out our Instagram and our Twitter at Radyo Katipunan and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Radyo Katipunan FM for more exclusive content. Radyo Katipunan. News, insights, inspiration. Radyo Katipunan. Down from the hill and down to the world. Radyo Katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle. Tara na't simulan ng inyong umaga sa mga magagandang refleksyon tungkol sa ating buhay at pananampalataya. Kasama sina Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle, Father J. Boy Gonzales at Father Nono Alfonso ng Kapisanan ni Jesus, Father Cali Llamado ng Manila Cathedral at Binibining Risa Singson Kaupeng ng Light of Jesus Community dito sa Kapit Pandasal sa Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.
ang may kasalanan sa fake news. Ako si Lisa Singson Kaupeng, book author at editor. Magkapet pandasal muna tayo. Alam niyo ba kung bakit kumakalat ang fake news sa mundo? Dahil sa'yo at sa akin. Tayo ang may sala kung bakit namamayagpag ang fake news sa social media. Kasi kung walang mga taong nagfo-forward at nag-share, hindi ito kakalat. Kaya't kung mamarapatin mo, itong ilang tips para sama-sama nating masugpo ang fake news. Una, kung mas nakakagalit, nakakainis o nakakashock ang balita, lalo nating huwag i-forward kung hindi pa natin nasusuri ang pinanggalingan ng balita. Ano? Tataas na naman ang gasolina? Bago i-share, Google mo muna kung ito ay lumabas na sa mga respetadong news outlets. I-check din ang petsa, baka naman lumang balita yan. Pangalawa, suriin kung totoo ang pinanggagalingan ng balita. Maraming nagpapanggap na lehitimong organisasyon at ginagaya ang kanilang logo o pangalan. Pangatlo, tingnan din ang background ng sumulat ng balita. Totoong tao ba siya o isang inimbentong pangalan lamang? Meron ding mga fact-checking sites gaya ng Snopes, factcheck.org at Washington Post Fact Checker na maaari nating konsultahin para malaman kung ano ang tama at fake. Kung naging kasangkapan tayo ng pagkalat ng fake news, edi lalo nating dapat ikalat ang magandang balita na si Jesus ang katotohanan at tunay ang pagmamahal niya sa atin. Yan ang siguradong hindi fake news. Tayo magdasal. Jesus, gamitin niyo ako upang ikalat ang mabuting balita ng inyong pagmamahal. Amen.
Radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan. The voice of W Eagle kami, di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay atin sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng pera. Radyo, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, Katipunan. Kawal ni Ignacio, Katipunero, sugo, todo sa kayod, tunong at tulong. Ipag W Eagle, galing hiding at tigil.
Palalimin ang kamalayan sa mga isyong napapanahon. Makisangkot at makiisa kasama ang Simbahang Lingkod ng Bayan, ang social-political apostolate ng kapisanan ni Jesus. Ito ang Kuwentuhang Bayan mula alas 11 ng umaga tuwing Biyernes dito lang sa Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. Dahil naniniwala kami na posible ang isang mas mabuting lipunan at maaari itong simulan sa isang kwentuhan.
Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Welcome to another Friday episode dito sa Radyo Katipunan. Muli ako po si John Warren Varquez at kasama ko po ngayon si Carlo Abadines, ang aming Associate Director for Programs, Miss Gracious Romero, ang aming Communications Officer, at isang pinakamagandang guest, hindi siya guest, host din siya ngayon. Isang isang maganda, okay, maganda, sige. Taas-taas ang ito for her, no, Miss Roslyn Balmes, no, of the Office of Mission, Office 4 or of?
4.
Or Office for Mission and Identity ng Ateneo de Manila University. Welcome to another Friday episode dito sa Radyo Katipunan, Kuwentuhang Bayan. Good morning everyone! Hi! What time na ba dyan?
Wow, ang special ng attire ng ating
Ang
host
ganda.
ngayon. No? Parang
Good
iba yung look
morning.
niya, no? Bakit kaya?
Nasaan ka ba ngayon dyan?
Nasa heaven ako ngayon kung napapansin.
Oh.
Puting-puti ka nga eh.
Actually,
Oo.
1 hour lang naman difference natin. So para sabi ko, hindi sana ako mag-host. Pero sabi, parang nabobore ako. Kasama na nga lang ako sa chikahan ngayong umaga.
Ganun pala.
Oo.
Hindi tayo
So,
matiis.
So, kumusta everyone? Kumusta, no? Yeah, ako muna. I'm actually here in Tokyo, Japan for a trip. Trip!
Simbahang.
No? Kaya sorry if ganito yung outfit ko. Sobrang lamig. Like kagabi parang between 8 to 10 yung yung temperature ng dito sa Japan. So hopefully hindi tayo nagka-crack na nga yung lips ko, no. As National Singles Day ngayon. So tayong mga single, Roslyn, kumusta? Carlo and Grace.
Hindi naman yan dahil sa single, di ba? Kaya mo ko tinawag.
Hindi. Kumusta ka?
Anyway, okay naman. Nanood kami ng Black Panther kagabi. It's so good. I think second day of showing. Ayun. Nanood din yata si Carlo. Napanood mo na ba, Carlo? Hindi pa. Pero yeah, super ganda. Like, one of the best films, Marvel films na sinusubaybayan ko din talaga. So, ayun. Sila, Carlo, Gracious.
Parang may plano na ako, no, pagkatapos ng recommendation ni Roslyn, feel ko, manonood na ako ng Black Panther. So, anyway. But ako naman, okay naman, kakatapos na ng first part ng compre namin ni Jan, di ba?
Thank you.
Part 1 done.
May part 2 pa.
May part 2 pa po. So sa mga nakikinig po sa amin, pagdasalan niyo po na pumasa po kami ng aming comprehensive exam sa LST po, no. Pero at least that's isang malaking tinik na siguro siya natanggal sa sa buhay ko, no. And so ngayon resting lang din, preparing for the second part. Pero it's good to be back, no. Nakabalik tayo sa programa natin ngayong araw. Ikaw naman, Grace.
Ako, yun nga. Thank you, Roslyn, for the recommendation. Manonood na rin ako. Mas maganda ba yung ngayon kaysa nung dati? Yung una?
Mahirap talaga mahirap mag-compare. Pero I guess the two different films or yung two different part ba? May kanya-kanyang charm. So, ayun, must watch pa din naman yung second na Black Panther.
Saka yun, medyo itong linggo, para sa akin, medyo pahinga ng onte. Pero yun, work pa rin tayo. SLB.
Kung yung damit ko is pang winter, yung damit ni Miss Gracious ay pang spring. Tingnan niyo, daming Mostly naman pang summer. Si Carlo pang talaga. Parang pampapare yung kay Carlong damit na isusuot.
Wow. Kainis.
Totoo agenda ngayon, no? So parang ang ating like what we do, no, for the past weeks, di ba? So tinitingnan natin kung ano yung mga current issues, ano yung mga nakikita natin, mga ng mga news, no? And then we'll try to have a Maritime with analysis dito, no? Kaya welcome to the club pala Roslyn, to the club of Marisis, no? Mga Marisis kasi kami dito, mga Marisis.
Welcome. Roslyn, sana lagi na.
Ay! Gagawa na tayo ng memorandum of agreement between OMI and SLD na kasali na si Rose.
Every Friday, no?
Oo. So yeah. So naka-calendar na yan kay Roslyn. So, okay. So parang ang natin ngayon, no, ang agenda of course, no, is to look at kung ano yung mga different issues, no, ng ating which we think na parang highlight for this week, okay? So ngayon, isa sa mga napag-usapan natin, no, or at least yung mga nalaman natin is that bumaba yung percentage with regard to unemployment, no, if I'm not mistaken. But let's try to look at, no, in a comprehensive manner, ano ba yung difference, or ano ba yung reason behind bakit merong unemployment and underemployment dito sa Pilipinas? And ano pa yung binagkaiba ng dalawa, no, yung unemployment and underemployment? Although bumaba tayo, but of course we don't see things as figures itself, di ba? Para tignan natin that these figures should be translated into people, no? Sobrang daming walang trabaho, sobrang daming konti yung sinasahod sa kanilang trabaho. Maybe can any one of you guys share more regarding kung ano yung napag-usapan nyo nung nakaraan? Anyone?
Go, Roslyn, ikaw na muna.
Ay, ako pala. Parang first thing is yung difference ng underemployment and unemployment. So I feel like nung nabasa ko din yung news, I guess the first thing that popped out into sa utak ko din is how much better off were we ba prior to the pandemic and ngayon? Because I feel like if we will be using the baseline data last year na nasa pandemic tayo, of course it will really increase because we're gradually opening up the economy. But if we will base it using the data that we have prior to the pandemic, which in the news was also mentioned na pataas nga sana talaga yung trajectory. Probably because patapos na din yung taon. Let's say 2019, December, patapos na yung taon, daming holidays, Christmas holidays, ganun. So, I guess I feel like we should pick up from that. Tapos, tingnan natin kung nakabalik na ba tayo sa status natin that time than looking at our situation from last year or last month. So, yun muna, I guess, for me, yung difference din ng baka kaya explain it. So, yes, Carlo?
Ay, okay. Medyo naging choppy ng konti si Roslyn. Pero, okay, sige. Well, I think for the benefit of the, usually naman, unemployment is really defined as people who are of age, who are looking for a job, no? But cannot find a job, no? So, naghahanap, no? So, there is actually an active desire to work, but cannot, no? And sila yung tinatawag nating, that's how the unemployment basically gets counted, no? Yung underemployment naman are people who actually have a job, no, but are looking for either more hours, no, or looking for a second job, no. And normally nangyayari naman talaga to not because people want to work harder, di ba? Di ba? Hindi naman naghahanap ng extra work ang tao in terms of like, hey, I just want extra work, di ba? Hindi, no. A lot of it is rooted in the fact na kailangan ng extra na kita, no. And kung basahin po natin yung mga news ngayon, sinasabi nga nila pababa yung unemployment rates natin, and it's not surprising, tama yung sinabi ni Roslyn, no? Usually naman kasi at the end of the year, madaming mga ganap sa Christmas, no? And in the sense, it generates work, no, for the economy, no? Mga Christmas parties, catering everywhere, mga special events, etc. This creates job, no, for the economy. And alam natin sa Pilipinas, no, magbibigay pa ng pera yung mga, of course, sa OFW. I mean, there's really a lot of expenditure, and we know in the Philippines, Christmas begins in September, di ba? So, medyo nasa mode na tayo ng gano'n. So it's not surprising, actually, that unemployment goes down. No? I think it's 5% right now. But as big, sometimes we think of this thing as contagious, no? Pero absolute number is a big number, no? Underemployment naman, no? So when it comes to underemployment, what we have been seeing recently is pataas siya. And the trend is upwards, no? Hindi naman sobrang laki, but the trend is upwards. And it is significant because of inflation muna, right? Tumataas yung presyo ng mga bilihin, no? What people are earning in their jobs is not enough, no? And that's why people are looking for extra work to get extra income, no? To be able to pay for the more expensive things that are mas mahal na yung mga bilihin, no? And
I think
nag-uusap kami doon sa isang kapihan, parang yun kind of worrying that people's current work. Nag-choppy pa ako, sorry. Okay. But in general, no. Okay. In general, no. What's worrying is that people are working 8 hours a day, but they're not earning enough. And I think kailangan doon tayo mag-umpisa sa reflection na yon, no? What does this actually mean for the economy and our work, no?
Mm-mm. You have something to add, Grace?
Ako parang ganun din. Actually, hindi ko sure kung talagang sa history ng Philippines, ang unemployment at saka underemployment ganun talaga din, medyo stagnant. Pero ang concern ko kasi din yung benefits ng mga empleyado na hindi sila well compensated, tapos medyo inline pa yung health nila, yung kanilang at risk pa yung kanilang mga trabaho, tapos wala pang benefits mostly. So, nandun ako sa point na yun, ng reflection.
Yeah, it's a good thing no that na parang pag-usapan natin ito ngayon kasi it's actually a trend. Actually, to be honest, na for example yung sa unemployment muna, no, yung sinabi ni Gracious, actually hindi siya naging stagnant, Gracious, no. There was a moment na, if I'm not mistaken, during the time of President Ramos, na mataas na talaga yung unemployment. Tumaas, and then bigla siyang medyo nag-down ng konti, pero konti lang yung pag-down doon sa time ni Pinoy, and then nag-continue siya nag-down yung unemployment, no, dun sa time ni President Duterte, and then it really significantly dropped during the time of pandemic, as in literally nag-amplify talaga yung number of unemployment, no, dun sa hindi drop, rise, nag-rise, as in rise talaga yung number of unemployment during the time of President Duterte nung nag-pandemic, no. It's still understandable, no, kung bakit tumaas yung ano. And now yun nga, the economy is trying to open na din. It doesn't mean na kung bumaba yung unemployment rate natin na, I mean, nag-lower ng percentage ang ating unemployment rate na konti na lang yung walang trabaho, no. So it's still high, actually, to be honest. Technically it's still high, 'di ba? And then of course with regard to underemployment naman, it's really a trend now. Na for example, for the recruitment ng mga different na mga nagsaside hustles, for example, insurance agencies or real estate agencies, no, yung mga ganun na mga or mga networking, it's become a target market for them, or it's become a marketing for them to really do side hustles because of inflation, no. Yung parang we need to work more for us to cope up sa mga bilihin na tumataas, kasi yun nga, the 8 hours of work pero the same pa rin yung sahod. Actually, and nagiging trend din ngayon in terms of employment, no, yung quiet quitting, no. When you say quiet quitting, like I will only literally work for that hour to that hour kasi it's only yun lang yung binabayad nyo sa akin. And other people will really do quiet quitting kasi they do side hustles, no. So ganung mga bagay. Maraming factors titignan actually when we talk about underemployment. Pero ang question doon is that tayo lang palagi as individual citizens are actually looking for ways in order for us to cope up with inflation. The question is, I don't know if napag-usapan nyo ito, no? Ibabato ko lang ito sa inyong tatlo kung napag-usapan nyo ito. I don't know if what are the actions that the government are doing right now in terms of the coping, no? People, we ordinary citizens need to cope up with the inflation. Diba? So yun, one.
I guess taking off from what Warren said, no, parang I was about to say nga kanina na weirdly though, when sa last part ng news, ang ni-reiterate nila na parang solution was to achieve food security. Like, I don't know if that is in the sense na individually we capacitate people to grow their own food in that kind of manner, or parang overall as a nation we should really invest in agriculture. Either or, I guess madaming gray areas for that. At the same time, coming from that, parang okay, food security, which isn't a bad parang isn't a bad solution naman, kasi parang kung titingnan naman talaga overall, we really need that. But I guess that's for another topic kasi mahaba din siyang discussion. At the same time, there was no mention of raising wages, raising the benefits of our employees, of our workers. Kasi yun naman yung I guess main reason, not I guess actually, but I guess yun yung but I really think yun yung main reason why people really look for job side hustle, because the wages aren't really enough to actually survive or give them the livable life na meron or we are all trying to have. So ayun, weirdly, or baka lang ako yung walang nabasa about raising the salary or yun, pagbibigay nga ng benefits sa mga salary, which is weird kasi I guess lagi namang part yun ng role ng gobyerno to really do something about those kinds of issues, because ang daming workers, I mean, yun yung literal identity ng mga tao. Like all of us are workers, all organizations really rely on their income sa mga trabaho nila, etc. And weird na walang nabanggit about wages or salary ng mga empleyado.
Yeah, gusto ko lang siguro dugtukan yung sinabi ni Roslyn, no? Parang recently, parang may nakausap ako na nagsa-service ng angkas, joyride, no? And I sometimes talk about kinakausap ko sila about their life, no? And many of them actually do yung mga joyride, angkas as a side thing. Additional job siya, no? And I asked them, ano yung trabaho nyo, no? Ano talaga yung main work nyo? And ang kinikwento nga nila na kahit team leader siya sa isang factory producing food, no? At tenured na siya, meaning may na siyang position talaga doon, ano. Sabi niya hindi enough kasi parang 600 ata yung bayad sa kanya. And this is kilala tong food production company, no? And it makes me wonder, bakit, 'di ba? Bakit hindi kaya taasan yung wages? Of course, minsan we talk about this in economics, 'di ba? Na parang kung taasan mo yung wages, then companies will hire less. So what happens daw is that increase wages, pero tataas yung unemployment kasi now companies will hire less people supposedly because of higher supposedly that's how it works, no, yung demand supply side noon. Pero iniisip ko nga, 'di ba, ang laki ng problema na yon, because at the end of the day, I remember dun sa national situationers natin, sinasabi natin sa SLB, si dating NEDA Secretary Carl Chua, no, he used to say na he has this very scary curve, no. Ang nakalagay dun sa curve, we are becoming more productive. Meaning every citizen is becoming more productive. Pataas yon over time. Meaning for every hour that we work, we actually create more value in the actual value, no? So kung dati kaya lang natin gumawa ng 2 papers in 2 days, baka ngayon in 2 days kaya natin mag-produce ng 4 na papers, no, on research or whatever, di ba? Parang ganun. So basically productivity is increasing, no? But what's happening is flatline yung wages, no? So what's happening, di ba? We're becoming more productive, pero we're actually not being compensated properly for being more productive, no? And I think this is really the point of na bakit ganon, di ba? Like how are we tolerating this, especially as inflation increases, di ba?
Gracious, do you have something to add?
Nga din, yun din yung point of contention ko na parang bakit nasa yun yung experience ng mga workers or saan kaya nagkukulang na parang bakit nga tayo pumapayag ng ganun o yung company kasi masyado tayong empathy dun sa company pinagtatrabahuhan natin, yung ganun. Yun.
Mm-mm. And then what's surprising, tama yung sinabi ni Carlo, no, is that what's surprising is that yung resiliency pa rin ng mga tao nandun, no. One thing na na-appreciate ko talaga sa Pilipino is that we really look for opportunities for us to really live, no, na mabuhay tayo ng maganda. And then meron din, tama yung sinabi ni Carlo, meron din akong kakilala na nagtatrabaho, no. Hindi ko nang sabihin kung saan siya nagtatrabaho. And then nag-aangkas, no, Grab delivery, Grab delivery, no. And then yun, so meron din ako nakikita na, for example, no, speaking of that one, like tatlong companies yung kaniyang tatlong applications yung kanyang tinatrabaho. Like meron siyang helmet for one company. Meron din siyang helmet for another company. Meron siyang box, no, for one company. So imagine tatlo. So yung parang gano'n, di parang oh my god. Ganun yung nangyayari. And then imagine din yung mga na-receive nila are only like parang contractor something lang, partners, di ba? Ganun yung relationship nila. And it's not really employee na employee. So yun, parang feeling ko na yung pag-usapan nyo kahapon is more on employment. Kasi yung next topic na pag-usapan natin is still about employment. No, it's about the maritime industry. No, so yun, that's one problem. I mean, that's one thing there's silver lining na bumaba yung ating unemployment. But let's also consider that underemployment is rising. No, maraming taong kulang sa in-exert din kanilang effort in terms of work, but like okay, magkano yung sweldo na tinatanggap? Now let's talk about the maritime industry.
Jan,
Okay.
before siguro before we jump into the maritime topic, no, I guess just some last points I just wanted to share dun sa underemployment, no. I think it's really and I don't know how it goes, no. I've never been a business owner. I don't know what it means, no. But I think part of me just thinks, no, especially sa mga nakikinig or may kakilala tayo ng mga business owners, maybe it's safe to say na okay lang naman na, especially if we're recovering out of a pandemic, to take less profits. And you know, part of me just really says, di ba, na parang if we are to live out our calling, no, to a certain extent, to live on less profits for the sake of higher wages for people seems to be the right way to go about it, di ba? Na parang at the end of the day naman, hindi naman mabubuhay yung mga businesses natin kung walang maggagawa, no? Parang yun talaga yung di ba? Like our work, there's no value created if the workers are not, di ba? Kung hindi naman nagtatrabaho yung manggagawa. And maybe if, for example, yung frustration ko minsan, di ba, na corporations need to maintain a certain level of profits, no? And that's why they depress wages. That's really one of the biggest reasons bakit hindi tinataasan yung wages, kasi nga kailangan i-maintain yung profit margins because of what the board, the stakeholders say, no. Pero I think the invitation for us, if we're gonna take it from a Christian lens talaga, is baka we have to share more by saying less profits, di ba? Because we need to say people deserve better wages. So at one level, no, I'm really at that point, no, and someone has to give way, di ba? Someone needs to say, I'll take less, right? Because, di ba, that's what everyone else needs, di ba? And hindi ko lang alam kung paano siya ma-communicate. Will do business persons, like, are they empathetic to even this idea, di ba? Kasi some of them will feel like, ay, dami kong capital nilagay dyan, I need to recover it. Pero di ba? Parang yun yung weird tension yun yung kailangan natin pag-usapan, no? And I'm sure people who own businesses are in better situations than their workers most of the time. And baka yun yung kailangan talagang tingnan natin when it comes to this. No, sorry. I feel very strongly about this kasi when I talk about it in a nutshell, it's very frustrating, di ba? To know that this is what's happening, di ba?
And di ba, if we talk about that during Nat Seats, like lahat ng taong nakikinig sa atin, damang-dama. Damang-dama na, bakit? Kasi I experienced this one. Yun is parang in a sense, I mean, hindi ako. sorry, not me. Parang, like, putting myself in the shoes in other people. Parang sabi niya, makikinig ako nito kasi, I mean, yung sinasabi nyo, na-experience ko siya. Parang ganon. Like for example, that's just people who are unemployed or underemployed, for example. How about those naman, yung mga tao na daily naghanap ng maglalabada or yung mga ganung mga bagay and still constant pa rin yung kanilang sweldo, di ba? So yun. Let's talk muna sorry, let's read a comment now from one of our viewers. Actually, constant viewers siya, no. She's actually from tawag dito, Barangka, no. Sabihin natin yung pangalan. Itago na lang natin sa pangalang Ses Tureka. Ses Toreka. Ses Toreka. Sabi niya, sana towards review the poverty threshold amount and reputation of NEDA on what is the livable amount per family, raise minimum wage considering inflation rates, no? So yung ganon na mga bagay, no? We need to consider talaga, no? Like tumataas yung presyo na bilihin pero constant pa rin yung ating presyo ng ating natatanggap na wages or salaries, no? So yun, moving forward, no? Ano ba yung chika? Ano ba yung chika about sa maritime industries? Bakit actually nakikita ko siya and actually brings political discussions, no, between like the supporters of one political party and the supporters of another political party. Ano ba yung chika nito? No, ano ba yung chika nito? Anyone, ano bang chika? Pakis-chismis nga sa akin. Grace, sige.
Grace or Roslyn, gusto mag-start? Hindi ko na. Okay.
Sige. Parang about the maritime naman, kasi may feedback from European countries yata, not sure of the specific one, pero yun, may feedback from European countries about our standards in terms of training our seafarers. So parang iniisip, parang siya may certain criteria sila, standards, but we were not been meeting it for the past 16 years. And Senator Pia is already asking CHED, the Maritime, which is in charge of the curriculum for the seafarers, yung sa undergrad and in charge sila to improve actually or maybe adjust the curriculum sa mga ganitong bagay. So yun nga, sinasabi ni Senator Pia na I think it's high time that we improve our curriculum on maritime education. Because for past 16 years pala, hindi na natin nami-meet yung criteria ng EMSA, if I'm not mistaken. So parang for that 16 years, wala rin ginagawa yung CHED and Maritime. So she's proposing to have a law to file a law or bill to start the adjustments or revision ng mga criteria dun sa curriculum. So, ayun. Siguro as someone din who works sa CHED, no? Kasi parang mainly naman din talaga CHED yung in charge sa pag-improve ng curriculum. So, parang context din, nung nag-K-12 nga, syempre nag-adjust ng curriculum, umabot tayo ng senior high, may grade 12 tayo. And so, all the curriculums also sa different subjects, in-adjust din talaga ng CHED through the revised policy standards and guidelines. So, every program that we have, may mga ganun yan sila. That was also updated last around 2016 to really be at par with the educational system that we have internationally. Kasi nga, internationally talaga umaabot ng senior high yung basic education. So, I am not sure kung ano yung nangyari dun sa maritime education. Like, was it included during the time na nag-update ng mga curriculum ang CHED or naiwan ba talaga siya? Because I guess kung ganun nga yung issue, hindi talaga siya umaabot dun sa standards ng EMSA. At the same time din, personally, parang may mga kakilala din kasi ako na seafarers. Tapos, another criteria din sa kanila is yung language, di ba? Like yung English language. So, hindi ko rin alam kung may implications yun dun sa nire-raise na issue ng EMSA. Kasi nga, with that concern, parang nanganganib na around 50,000 Filipino seafarers ay mawawalan ng trabaho. So, yun yung biggest concern din. Bilang, of course, those are our people. Hindi naman natin sila pwedeng hayaan na mawalan ng trabaho because on our part, on the part of the government, it really had lapses in terms of upgrading or improving its education, particularly in that discipline. So, ayun. Baka may comments kayo or any insights about it?
Yeah, I'm not sure kung yung Magna Carta for Seafarers, yung status nun sa Senate or sa BICAM, pero yun nga, sabi din ni Hontiveros, kailangan talaga ipasa na siya para makatulong man lang dun sa evaluation, EMSA evaluation, para itong standard and training ng education system natin sa mga seafarers maging quality education yung may provide natin.
Actually, medyo surprising, no? So, just to contextualize din sa mga listeners po natin, no? Actually, Filipinos are quite a big, significant group in terms of seafarers. As in, we produce quite a lot, no? As in the world, and we work for a lot of companies, etc., etc. No, I'm not even sure if this is considered OFW, di ba? Theoretically,
We
they
are.
are, di ba?
Yeah.
They're theoretically OFW sila, and I actually have a number of friends who I know seafarers din yung mga parents nila, no? And something that, it's a big industry. And actually, nung binasa natin, pinag-usapan natin yung news na yun, no? Medyo na-shock ako na bakit 16 years. I mean, like of all the things, di ba? 16 years, seriously, right? Di ba? If you were sure that you produce seafarers, right? Sure na sure kayo, di ba, na as a country, you produce good seafarers. How could you have neglected it? Actually, yun yung big question sa akin, di ba? Kung, for example, tayo, in a sense, there's a lot of, we train a lot of medical staff, di ba? Nurses and even some doctors who go overseas to practice. So we strengthen the medical field, di ba? And we produce excellent nurses. Pero dito parang naisip ko, parang ano nangyari sa 16 years, no? And I think that's one of those things na I don't fully understand how this works in government, di ba? Na parang how do you let these things, ano? But I guess what is surprising also, baka tama nga yung sabi ni Roslyn, no? Na parang dahil siguro nagbago yung education system natin, baka marami ding, alam mo yung mahirap i-focus kasi ang daming moving parts. And like for example, ngayon yung learning crisis na pinagdadaan natin sa Pilipinas, di ba? Ito yung mga bagay na hindi na nabigyan ng pansin kasi ang daming parts gumalaw suddenly and no one was able to really monitor, di ba? Kung ano yung quality na ginagawa natin, no? What are we actually producing in quality, no? Kasi we were so caught up in access, which is important, no? Access is always important. But I think what we neglected was quality controls, di ba? Na how do we make sure we're actually delivering quality education, di ba? And that's both at the basic level at saka at the higher level. Kasi our results are saying it's not good enough, right? Like literally, yun ang mga sinasabi ng test sa atin na we're not giving the quality education. I guess the last point na gusto ko lang siguro sabihin, frustrating siya because theoretically we're robbing people of their future, di ba? Parang kung ikaw, tumaya ka sa sistema ng edukasyon sa Pilipinas and you want to become a seafarer and then suddenly someone tells you, actually, yung education mo, it's not good enough. Di ba? And you're just gonna be like, anong ginawa ko sa 4 na taon? Di ba? Na nag-aral ako para tumulong, di ba? To work in a ship, di ba? So, yun siguro yung parang big implications in terms of employment and everything.
Also, siguro no, if I may just raise, parang we live in a country na napapalibutan tayo ng dagat and all. So parang the maritime education is literally parang professionalizing yung mismong like the fisher folks that we have and all. Parang ganun siya eh. So parang it's sad na parang naiwan nga yung part na yun. But I guess tangential to what Carlos said, hindi lang din siya concern the quality of education, hindi lang siya concern on that specific discipline. Kasi nga, even in some research na binabalik sa atin, international researchers, parang, yun nga, we're lacking on that part sa quality ng education. So, parang nabanggit ko din siya kahapon na we have K-12 literally to integrate internationally sa ASEAN. Just so our students, when they transfer abroad, hindi sila mahihirapan na mag-catch up ng ganitong subjects, etc., even with the calendar year. But we were not able to go to that part na kailangan din natin ma-achieve yung quality education. Of course, maraming, din siya, it's conflating issues also na nagdadala sa atin sa ganong concern sa issue ng quality ng education because we have yung ratio ng teacher to students, the facilities that we have sa ating public schools. So, ang dami niyang issue. But at the same time, it's something that we should not really lag behind on. Kasi nga, we are integrating internationally, pero kung ganun pa din yung quality natin, what kind of students are we literally making? Parang, we have students who can adapt to the international institutions, but I guess we should also push for having students who can serve our country, people who doesn't really have to go abroad. mga ganong bagay. So, ayun.
Yeah, alam na alam talaga yun ni Rosin. Rosin, meron ka bang naging jowa na seafarer?
Parang ano,
Ikahan kasi,
parang usap tayo mamaya, Warren, ha? Wala, wala
yeah.
naman, makaloka.
Okay, so okay, so going back no, ano lang, parang di ba nakaka-wonder ka like you study for 4 years and then after you study you still need to go training, series of trainings and get certificates. Ganon. So parang so how long are you going to become a I mean, how long yung dapat mong ilang years yung dapat mong i-google para makasakay ka sa barko? So ganon.
I think
No?
4.
Yeah, can you add something about it?
Ang alam ko 4 years. Like, tantamount siya to other undergrad. 4 or 5 years yata. Other undergrad courses that we have. Pero, I guess may mga trainings din yan eh. Not literally postgraduate studies. Parang trainings lang on some things na ginagawa nila. Parang specialization. When they are on the ground na. So, but I guess, yun nga, not to the nitty-gritty part of it, parang important to really look talaga, i-review yung policies or standards and guidelines niya for that. So, hindi talaga ako sure if na-update siya kasi almost all programs were updated nung nag-K-12. So, ayun.
Naging curious ako bigla, no? Parang ano yung, may centers of ano ba? Parang maritime. Kasi alam ko, I'm quite sure the Jesuit, I think yung mga Jesuit universities has nothing, di ba? Connected to maritime.
Oh,
wala ata.
wala.
Eh. Wala at all.
At ginagawa, wala. Ang alam ko yung sa Ilo.
Oh, okay. Sige, so yung maritime yeah, and actually isa din sa mga nakaka-sad no na reality is that marami sa ating mga seafarers are actually hindi na nakakabalik ng barko when they reach a certain of age. No, like kasi parang there's no promotion or something like that. Mataas ang sweldo pero there's no promotion. And then yeah, so yun, of course no, a little advice lang din sana sa ating mga seafarers or even everyone no, that the moment that we have opportunities na malaki yung sahod natin and then malaki naman yung nagiging net natin from our sweldo, we try to save in case no merong mangyaring mangyaring masama sa atin no or mawalan tayo ng trabaho no, we invest on different investments no para yung ating source of fund will not only be from one particular fund lang. Wow, the financial advisor of me speaking.
Financial advisor hat.
So yun, yeah, it's masyadong complicated talaga yung ating maritime industry ngayon. Maraming nag-worry na mawalan ng trabaho. So dagdag na naman ito sa ating unemployment rate, no? So yeah. It's good na tinutukan ito, binibigyan ito ng highlight ng ating government ngayon. Nagiging alarming na siya on their end. But of course, no, we waited for 16 years bago ito bigyan ng focus. We waited for like the issue to be at its highest peak in order for us to do something about it. No, there should have been preventive measures done in the past, but medyo hindi tayo nakakabigay ng pansin ito. Okay. So moving forward, baka later meron tayong madagdag na. Let's go naman no to another issue sa napag-usapan natin. Church intensifies fight against child abuse. Medyo parang nakakatakot itong topic na ito on my end. Pero can anyone of you share anong yung issue about church against child abuse about this one? Anyone?
ito may nabanggit lang si Pope Francis na during yung press conference niya sa eroplano habang pabalik siya from Bahrain, na sabi niya na minention niya specifically na yung Catholic Church was working as best as we can to fight clerical child abuse. Although he also admitted na may mga shortcomings pa rin ang Catholic Church. Yun lang. Tapos nabanggit din niya na inside the church, child abuse inside the church was a tragic thing. Yun yung kanyang sinabi. Tapos, yun, in-emphasize niya talaga na lahat ng measures ginagawa ng Catholic Church, and it's an ongoing process that we are carrying out with courage, sabi niya. So, yun, parang in-insist din niya na ang Catholic Church is adopting the zero tolerance approach towards abuse. Although, as we know na marami na ring mga critics ang simbahan at yung mga maraming bansa na they have yet to seriously confront the issue. So, yun ang sabi.
Nakakatawa lang kasi last Saturday, nanood kami ni Roslyn at saka ni Ces.
Ay, oo nga.
Alam mo kaya, di ba? It's talking about a particular priest who went out to the priesthood, no? Of course, hindi na siya pare nung ginawa niya yon. Pero the issue there was that nangbulas siya ng bata, no? In a sense, nangbulas siya ng bata, no? Pero of course, ginawa niya yon na nasa labas na siya ng priesthood, no? But it's a reality. Marami talaga sa ating mga kapatid na mga pare are tempted, no? Or tempted and nagpadala sa temptation. Let's just use that term, no? Tempted and nagpadala sa temptation. And I also believe, no, it's really a struggle, no? Just to defend our priest in a sense. It's really a struggle to live a life of chastity and celibacy. No? Kaya nga lumabas ako sa seminary kasi parang hindi ko yan kaya. It's really a struggle, it's a constant struggle of the self, no? To live a life of celibacy and chastity, no? Of course, for the benefit of for those who are listening, no, celibacy means that a priest, no, cannot marry, no, during the time of na magiging pare siya. Chastity means na we live a life of a priest should live in a chaste life, no? So meaning out of any lustful or whatsoever na mga activities, no? So ganun mga bagay, no? It's really hard for on their end. But of course, no, it's a reality din na marami talaga na nakagawa na ganun. And medyo nakakahinayang yung response ng ating simbahan, no? In the past, no, regarding that one. No, meron tayong mga naririnig na mga issues, for example, a particular priest, no, na nakakaano siya tawag dito, in a sense child abuse, no, for example, or naging issue, gawin nating issue na lang, no, kasi of course it's not proven kasi unless merong court na nangyayari, no. Naging issue na meron siyang bata or a woman or whatsoever. And the issue there is that okay, nangyari siya, but how did the church respond? Tinago lang yung priest. It's a sad reality. But it's a practice na ginagawa na ngayon. And it's a sad thing, to be honest. No, kaya medyo humina yung boses ko. It's a sad thing, to be honest. No, yung ganon. It's a sad thing for the church, in a sense, no, na merong ganun nangyayari, tinatakpan. Minsan, even lay people, tinatakpan yung pare. No? Lay people defend the priests who are doing these things, no? But how about the people na naging biktima? No. Carlo, can you have something to add?
Yeah, I remember when I started taking my ecclesiology class. Wow!
Nice.
Ecclesiology.
I know the academician.
Joke lang. The study of the church. The study of the church. Ganun lang po, no? So when we started, I remember my professor started with a video talking about the concerns of the people. And lay participation was one of it. And then, of course, there was also the idea of the sexual abuse. It's really one of the biggest earthquakes happening in the church. It's really turning people off, no? And I was saying na parang we have to confront it head on, no? We have to answer it. And even the synodal process, mayroon ng initial document na lumabas, no? And what they were saying was that legit siya na issue, right? The faithful find this as an issue, no? And I think what's what's painful is that, you know, you love the church so much. I mean, we commit ourselves to building the church, di ba, as lay people. And yet, you know that there's something so dark that is happening. And yet, sometimes we feel na parang wala tayong masabi sa proseso na yon because it is up to the hierarchy. Do you get it, right? Like, accountability, yung ganitong mechanisms for accountability, sometimes feels like nasa mundo lang siya ng clerics, right? The ones who have been ordained, no? I understand there's always the principle of mercy. There's a principle, internal processes for due process to make sure it's checked, no? Pero yung sinabi nga ni Jan, my sense is that a lot more of these things are hidden, right? Because that's why even Pope Francis had to point blank say, di ba, na this cannot be. We cannot no, and tama yung sabi nga ni Brother Chesco during the kapihan, no? Sabi nga niya na there is at least consolation that our Pope, the head of the church right now, no, of the Catholic Church, is brave enough to confront this darkness within the church, no? And I remember yung pinag-usapan natin to as SMB, so much of us was riled up, di ba? Na parang, we cannot let it slide. Sorry, di ba? Parang, it seems bad, di ba? Na parang, I don't care if you are ordained, di ba? But if you broke a law and you harmed someone, di ba? You have to feel the fullness of the law. Alam mo yun? Like, you have to be held accountable to it, di ba? And yun lang. I just feel so strongly about the topic kasi ang hirap kausapin yung mga tao, sasabihin nila, bakit ka nagseservisyo sa isang lugar na pinoprotektahan yung guy. Alam mo yun, di ba? Parang ikaw, parang hindi ka nasusuka din ako, bro. Di ba? Parang ganun yung ano, di ba? So, I don't know. I feel... Anyway.
Siguro,
I think these things, kasi mahal natin ang simbahan.
yeah.
No? We want to address these issues kasi mahal natin ang simbahan. And the church is not only the priests. No, the church is not only the priests. All of us, no, lahat tayo. Going in our ecclesiology class, para may dagdag lang. Ecclesiology class, no, the church is, I mean, Lumen Gentium, for example, niya-widen yung kanyang idea about what church is, di ba? Pero minsan nakaka-frustrate lang na we are promoting social justice, but we are hiding something. Alam mo yan? We're promoting social justice, but we are practicing it in a sense, but not totally. Kaya nga, totoo nga yung sinabi ng professor namin na if you take away God, no, from the church, and if you let church alone move, it no longer as church. Diba? So parang, bakit yun nasabi? Maybe it's God's guidance for Pope na binigay niya kay Pope Francis to really talk about these things. Kasi mahal tayo ng Panginoon. No? And ayaw ng Panginoon na tayo ay mag-isa. No? Yeah. Do you have something to add, Gracious or Roslyn?
Siguro, for me, ulitin ko siya dun sa part na accountability ng simbahan. So, I really agree that parang when you really say na mahal mo yung simbahan, it's just not on the part na siya as the good part of it, but also you also have to embrace the dark side of it. So parang kung iisipin naman, if you don't love the church, most probably wala kang pake. You really won't care about it kung may mga kasalanan siya or mga pagkukulang siyang ginagawa. But because you care about it, you love it, the institution, the people that the community that it wants to create, you take part in every process of it. Parang you have to condemn it for its lapses and speak about it. So parang yun nga laging part ng pagmamahal yung paggawa or making them accountable sa mga pagkukulang nila. And siguro I'm also speaking also as a woman na parang yun nga in these issues, we've often hear na mga batang babae, yung mga nabibiktima and all. And it's really difficult to navigate that part na, yun, we work in the church institution, pero may mga ganong issue. But at the same time, kung iiwan mo din siya, ano yung mangyayari dun sa simbahan? Siguro ganong part. I forgot my point, but also, yun nga in practice talaga, lagi siyang may i-report na may ganitong nangyari tapos hindi siya i-report as a crime. So i-address siya ng simbahan within its own structure, thinking that it's devoid of its larger context, its larger society, na part din siya. So I guess yun din yung part na it's a good thing. I guess the consolation nga is we have a Pope who speaks about these kinds of issues which we actually didn't have in the past, or siguro very silent about these issues. And it's a good thing. I guess kailangan na lang natin siya madala dun sa culture. Alam mo yun? Because if we have this kind of Pope and at the same time, on the ground, may mga ganun pa ding nangyayari. Like tinatago pa din yung mga ganong instances, ganong cases. It's difficult. And yun nga, it's important to laud this kind of efforts by Pope Francis and to praise it somehow na may mga ganong effort yung simbahan. Challenge na lang din talaga in how to cascade this down to the ground sa mga parishes, etc. And even in the structures. So that's why important, I guess. I think nag-a-appoint din siya ng mga tao within the hierarchy na babae, radical din mag-isip. And I feel like that's very important because we see our leaders naman aren't temporary. Like we change pope from here to another pope, and at the same time may mga role pa din yung mga nakaupo sa pwesto sa institusyon ng simbahan. And it's a big thing that Pope Francis really tries to appoint people or women in the church hierarchy. And at the same time, yun nga, yung on the ground work na we have to change the culture and the system na hindi dapat ganun. Na kapag may mga incidences na ganun, it's not only the issue ng simbahan, but also it's an issue ng larger society itself. So,
yeah, good thing, no? Kahit, how does the church address these issues ba? No? At least in the past, no, nakikita natin na meron ng mga steps, no, na ginagawa ang simbahan. For example, informing the priests in the seminaries, di ba? The new ratio fundamentalis, that is in a sense handbook in terms of formation sa mga seminaries. Nakalagay talaga doon the importance of human formation. No, like the holistic formation of a person. Kasi minsan or in the past, no, at least in the past, formation towards priesthood is only focusing, for example, on studies, spirituality, apostolate, pero nakakalimutan natin another essential factor in terms of formation is yung kabuuan ng tao mismo. The psychology, the emotions of the person affects the spirituality and the studies and also the pastoral aspect of formation, di ba? Kung shall we say yung kung ang tao ay during seminary formation, nung bago siya pumasok sa seminary formation, medyo medyo shall we say malande or whatsoever, let's just use the term malande. Papasok siya sa seminary, papasok siya ng seminary, and then if the seminary is nakikita ko yung mga chat niya pero ayaw kong basahin. No, pumasok sa seminary, and then because the seminary is parang hindi masyado open in terms of human formation, he repressed yung pagiging malandi. Tinatago niya yung pagiging malandi. And then nung lumabas na siya, naging pare na siya lang, lo and behold, parang ganon. Lo and behold, no? Parang hindi na-address yung issue na pagiging ganon, no? So parang you are repressing yourself from this thing, and then when you're actually ordained, doon nalalabas yung issues mo in life. So kaya it's a good thing ngayon, no? At least in the current ratio fundamentalis, ini-institutionalize na that there's a need for human formation. No, there's a need for human formation. And yes, Roslyn.
Yeah, I feel like very important nga din to point out yung formation ng mga priests. But at the same time, for me, no, I guess that's a more individualized take on that issue. Like parang that's more on the individual person, eh. Like the priests themselves who commit these kinds of crime, as we call it. But I guess more than looking at it as an individual choice of the person, I guess it's really important also to look at the overall structure or system that really allows them to escape the accountability on why they do this kinds of thing. Like, di ba, hindi mo naman hawak yung individual choice ng isang tao or kung ano yung magiging kind of person niya based sa formation na nakuha niya. Hindi mo yun mahawakan in totality. But you can always have something, you can always do something about the structure. Say, halimbawa, pag may mga nangyaring ganun, you should act upon it. Like, not hide it, but act upon it as a church. The right kind of action na dapat ginagawa sa mga ganung cases. So I guess yun nga, that's the more individual take about it. Like looking at the individual person who committed that. But also there are systems or structures that really enables these kinds of things. Kaya nangyayari siya and even up until now.
Mm-mm. Yeah, so yun, hopefully, no, this culture of hiding like that, no, will be mababago na, no. Love natin yung simbahan, kaya natin to ginagawa. Yun na talaga yung lagi kong sinasabi. No, love natin yung simbahan, kaya natin to pinag-uusapan, no. So yun, Gracious, do you have any final things to say?
Then, actually yun nga din, parang bumilib ako dun sa sinabi ni Pope Francis na parang we are facing the issue head on na with courage. Kasi yun nga kailangan ganun na. Nililinaw na niya yung kasi parang ano na siya parang lumilitaw na yung problem. So ano nang kailangan natin gawin dito? Yun. So yun lang. Natutuwa ako kasi meron tayong Pope na talagang kakaiba siya from lahat ng mga naging Pope natin. Tapos sobra yung courage niya and sobra yung courage, empathy, compassion, at Jesuit pa siya to think. So yun, sobrang bilib lang ako sa kanya and nahahambol ako sa kanya.
Okay, no. So yeah, thank you very much no for that, Gracious, no. Marami tayong napag-usapan no, from employment going to underemployment, and now no it's about yun sa simbahan no, against child abuse, no. We hope and pray that lahat ng napag-usapan natin will be put into a bright light no, bright situation na no. So yun, muli no, yung mga napag-usapan natin medyo complicated, but at the same time dapat talaga natin ito pag-usapan. If hindi natin siya pag-usapan no, dapat natin hindi natin siya pag-usapan, hindi natin siya mabibigyan ng pansin. No, and of course no, all of us no, are as church no, meron tayong mako-contribute nito in one way or another, no. So yun, maraming salamat po muli no sa pagsubaybay sa ating weekly kwentuhan dito sa Radyo Katipunan. Muli ako po si John Warren Varquez, and thank you everyone for joining our show. Have a great lunch.
Palalimin ang kamalayan sa mga isyong napapanahon. Makisangkot at makiisa kasama ang Simbahang Lingkod ng Bayan, ang socio-political apostolate ng Kapisanan ni Jesus. Ito ang Kuwentuhang Bayan mula alas 11 ng umaga tuwing Biyernes dito lang sa Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. Dahil naniniwala kami na posible ang isang mas mabuting lipunan at maaari itong simulan sa isang kwentuhan. Radyo Katipunan. News, insights, inspiration. Radyo Katipunan. Down from the hill and down to the world. Radyo Katipunan. The voice of